My name is Anya Petrova, and for the first 32 years of my life, I was a creature of habit, a testament to the allure of the mundane. I worked as a senior accountant at Stroikov and Partners, a moderately successful firm nestled in the bustling heart of Moscow. My world revolved around spreadsheets, quarterly reports, and the comforting predictability of numbers. Each day was a precise replica of the last, a symphony of routine played out in the sterile confines of my cubicle. I lived in a compact, meticulously organized apartment in the suburban district of Khimki. It was a sanctuary of order, where every object had its designated place, every book neatly arranged on the shelf, every cushion perfectly plumped on the sofa. Evenings were spent in quiet solitude, immersed in the pages of classic literature, sipping chamomile tea, and meticulously planning the next day's agenda. My existence was a carefully constructed fortress against chaos, a refuge from the unpredictable currents of life. On the surface, my life was a picture of unwavering stability, a testament to the virtues of discipline and control. But beneath that placid exterior, a restless spirit stirred, a yearning for something more than the predictable rhythm of my days. I felt a growing sense of unease, a gnawing suspicion that I was merely existing, not truly living. The world seemed to offer endless possibilities, yet I remained confined within the narrow confines of my self-imposed limitations. The catalyst for change arrived unexpectedly in the form of a weathered, leather-bound trunk unearthed from the dusty recesses of my late grandmother Irina's attic. Grandma Irina had been an enigmatic figure in my life, a woman of few words and even fewer displays of affection. She had passed away several years prior, leaving behind a trove of enigmatic artifacts and whispered family legends that had always piqued my curiosity. It was during the painstaking task of clearing out her dilapidated dacha, a crumbling relic of a bygone era, that I stumbled upon the trunk. The dacha, nestled deep within the dense forests outside of Sergei Pozad, had been a place of mystery and intrigue during my childhood. Visits were rare and always tinged with a sense of unease. Grandma Irina seemed to inhabit a different realm, a world of ancient rituals and forgotten traditions. The dacha itself was a repository of strange objects and arcane knowledge, a testament to her unconventional life. The trunk was heavy, its leather worn smooth with age. The metal clasps were corroded with rust, and the lock was long since broken. With a surge of anticipation, I heaved the lid open, revealing a treasure trove of forgotten memories and untold stories. Inside, nestled among yellowed letters tied with faded ribbons, antique photographs capturing faces frozen in time, and moth-eaten fabrics that whispered of a bygone era, was a collection of maps unlike any I had ever seen. These were not the maps of familiar cities or countries, the maps of roads and borders. They depicted fantastical landscapes, shimmering celestial realms, and impossible geometries. The maps were rendered with exquisite detail on fragile parchment, using inks that seemed to shimmer with an inner light, as if infused with a life of their own. Each map was a work of art, a testament to the skill and imagination of its creator. They depicted landscapes that defied the laws of physics, cities built on clouds, and oceans that shimmered with the colors of the aurora borealis. The maps were not merely representations of physical locations. They were windows into other dimensions, portals to realms of pure imagination. One map in particular captivated my attention, drawing me in with an irresistible force. It was a complex depiction of a region marked only as the Whispering Peaks. Towering mountains pierced the sky, their snow-capped summits wreathed in perpetual twilight. Rivers snaked through verdant valleys, defying the logic of topography, their waters reflecting the ethereal glow of the twilight sky. Strange symbols, like the glyphs of a forgotten language, were etched along the borders of the map, their meaning obscured by the mists of time. The mountains in the map were not mere geological formations. They seemed to possess a sentience, a silent wisdom that resonated deep within my soul. The rivers flowed with an energy that transcended the physical realm, their currents carrying whispers of ancient secrets. The symbols were like fragments of a forgotten language, each one a key to unlocking a deeper understanding of the map's mysteries. I became obsessed with the map, consumed by an insatiable curiosity to decipher its secrets. After work, I would rush home, eager to lose myself in its intricate details, tracing its contours with my fingertips, trying to unravel the enigma that it presented. I spent countless hours researching obscure folklore, ancient languages, and forgotten mythologies, searching for any clue that might shed light on the map's origins and purpose. I discovered that my grandmother had been a cartographer, but not in the conventional sense. She had charted the realms of dreams, the landscapes of the imagination, the places that existed just beyond the veil of our mundane reality. She was a psychogeographer of the soul, a navigator of the inner landscape. My grandmother's life had been shrouded in mystery, a tapestry woven with threads of secrecy and intrigue. She had always been an outsider, a woman who lived by her own rules, defying the expectations of society. I now began to understand that her unconventional life had been driven by a deeper purpose, a quest to explore the hidden dimensions of reality. The Whispering Peaks map led me to a particular symbol that recurred throughout the collection, a spiraling labyrinth, a maze of infinite complexity. According to legend, this labyrinth was a nexus point, a place where time became fluid, where the past, present, and future converged. It was said that those who entered the labyrinth could glimpse their destinies, but at a terrible risk, the danger of becoming lost within its endless corridors, forever trapped in the echoes of their own choices. The labyrinth represented the ultimate test of self, a journey into the depths of the subconscious. It was a place of illusions and temptations, where the boundaries between reality and illusion blurred. Those who entered the labyrinth had to confront their deepest fears and desires, their regrets and aspirations. Only those who possessed the courage to face their inner demons could hope to emerge unscathed. The more I learned, the more I felt an irresistible pull towards the Whispering Peaks. It was as if the map was calling to me, whispering promises of answers to questions I hadn't even dared to formulate. I began to believe that it held the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of myself, of my purpose in life. The map was not merely a guide to a physical location, it was a guide to my own soul. My decision was inevitable, a foregone conclusion written in the stars. I resolved to find the Whispering Peaks, to embark on a journey that would challenge everything I thought I knew about myself and the world around me. I knew it was a reckless undertaking, a leap into the unknown with no guarantee of return. But the yearning for something more had become too powerful to ignore, an irresistible force that propelled me forward. I could no longer bear the stifling predictability of my life, the suffocating routine that had become my prison. I resigned from my job, much to the shock and dismay of my colleagues. I sold my apartment, severing the ties that bound me to my old life. I began to liquidate my assets, transforming my material possessions into the fuel for my adventure. My colleagues thought I had lost my mind, succumbing to some sort of midlife crisis. My friends pleaded with me to reconsider, warning me of the dangers that lay ahead. But I was deaf to their pleas, blinded by my own unwavering conviction. I was consumed by the belief that this journey was my destiny, the path I was meant to follow. The map offered only vague clues, suggesting a remote mountain range in the Altai region of Russia. I booked a flight to Gorno-Altaysk, the nearest city to the Altai Mountains, a gateway to a land of untamed beauty and ancient mysteries. I spent weeks researching the region, poring over topographical maps, studying satellite images, and consulting with local experts. I hired a guide, a grizzled old man named Sergei, who claimed to know the mountains like the back of his hand. He was taciturn and skeptical, but I sensed a quiet strength and wisdom in his weathered eyes. Sergei was a man of few words, but his knowledge of the Altai Mountains was encyclopedic. He had spent his entire life exploring its hidden valleys and scaling its towering peaks. He knew the names of every plant and animal, the secrets of every stream and cave. He was a living embodiment of the mountains, a conduit to their ancient wisdom. Our journey into the Altai Mountains was arduous and unforgiving, a test of endurance and resilience. We trekked through dense forests teeming with wildlife, crossed raging rivers that threatened to sweep us away, and scaled treacherous mountain passes where a single misstep could send us plummeting to our deaths. The landscape was breathtakingly beautiful, but also brutally harsh, demanding respect and vigilance at every turn. The weather was unpredictable, shifting from blazing sunshine to freezing blizzards in a matter of hours, testing our ability to adapt to the ever-changing conditions. Sergei proved to be an invaluable companion, his expertise and experience saving us from countless dangers. He taught me how to navigate by the stars, how to find potable water in the most arid landscapes, and how to survive in the wilderness with minimal resources. He shared stories of the local legends and folklore, tales of ancient spirits and mythical creatures that roamed the mountains, guarding their sacred secrets. As we ventured deeper into the mountains, I began to feel a strange sense of familiarity, as if I had been here before in a past life. The landscape mirrored the images on my grandmother's map with uncanny precision, the towering peaks, the winding rivers, the strange rock formations. The air hummed with an otherworldly energy, a palpable sense of the supernatural that sent shivers down my spine. I began to experience vivid dreams, visions of ancient rituals, and forgotten civilizations that seemed to be echoing from the depths of time. I felt a growing connection to the mountains, a sense of belonging that transcended the physical realm. The mountains were not merely a landscape, they were a living entity, a repository of ancient wisdom and power. After weeks of relentless trekking, enduring hardship, and overcoming obstacles, we finally reached the place indicated on the map, a hidden valley nestled between towering peaks, shrouded in a perpetual mist that swirled and danced like ethereal spirits. The valley was unlike anything I had ever seen, a sanctuary of tranquility and beauty that seemed to exist outside of time. The air was thick with the scent of pine and wildflowers, and the silence was broken only by the gentle murmur of a nearby stream. The valley possessed an ethereal, almost dreamlike quality, as if it belonged to another world. In the center of the valley stood a monolithic stone structure, its surface covered in the same cryptic symbols that adorned the map, their meaning still shrouded in mystery. The monolith radiated a palpable energy, a sense of ancient power that drew me towards it with an irresistible force. It was as if the monolith was a beacon, guiding me towards my destiny. Sergei hesitated, his face etched with a mixture of concern and fear. "This is a place of power," he said, his voice barely a whisper, as if afraid of being overheard by some unseen presence. "A place of spirits, of ancient gods. I cannot go any further. This is where our paths diverge." I thanked him for his guidance and assured him that I would be careful, promising to return safely. He watched me with a mixture of concern and resignation as I approached the monolith, his eyes filled with a knowing sadness. As I touched the cold, smooth surface of the stone, a surge of energy coursed through my body, electrifying every nerve ending. The world around me began to dissolve, the mountains melting into swirling colors and abstract shapes. I felt a sensation of falling, of being pulled through a vortex of time and space, as if my very being was being disassembled and reassembled on a different plane of existence. When my vision cleared, I found myself standing before the entrance to the labyrinth, the gateway to the unknown. It was a colossal structure, built from ancient stone blocks that fit together with seamless precision, as if crafted by beings of unimaginable skill. The corridors stretched into the infinite distance, disappearing into shadows and swirling mists, their depths concealing untold mysteries and unimaginable dangers. The air was thick with the whispers of forgotten voices, the echoes of countless souls who had ventured into the labyrinth before me. The labyrinth was not merely a maze, it was a living entity, a reflection of my own subconscious, a mirror to my soul. It was a place of illusions and echoes, where the boundaries between reality and illusion blurred, where the past, present, and future intertwined. As I ventured deeper into the labyrinth, I encountered fleeting glimpses of my past, my regrets, my unfulfilled dreams. I saw the faces of people I had loved and lost, their voices calling out to me from the depths of my memory. I encountered versions of myself from different points in my life, each one a reflection of the choices I had made and the paths I had chosen. I encountered a vision of myself as a young girl, full of innocence and wonder, dreaming of a future filled with endless possibilities. I saw myself as a teenager, struggling with self-doubt and insecurity, searching for my place in the world. I saw myself as a young woman, ambitious and driven, pursuing my career with unwavering determination. I saw all the paths my life could have taken, the choices I had made, the opportunities one had missed. I encountered versions of myself living vastly different lives. A successful businesswoman, driven by ambition and devoid of empathy. A starving artist, struggling to create beauty in a world of ugliness. A loving wife and mother, surrounded by warmth and affection. These were the lives I could have lived, the people I could have been. The labyrinth seemed to anticipate my every move, presenting me with challenges, temptations, and terrifying visions, testing my resolve, my sanity, my very identity. I felt myself unraveling, losing touch with the person I thought I was, as my sense of self began to dissolve within the labyrinth's endless corridors. The labyrinth was a place of profound beauty and unbearable terror, a reflection of the duality that exists within us all. It was a place where I had to confront my deepest fears, my darkest desires, and my most painful regrets. Deeper and deeper I ventured, losing all sense of time and direction, as the labyrinth twisted and turned, leading me further away from the familiar world and closer to the heart of its mysteries. The labyrinth was a living entity, a reflection of my own subconscious, a mirror to my soul. After what felt like an eternity, I finally reached the heart of the labyrinth, the center of its spiraling design. It was a vast chamber, filled with shimmering light that emanated from an unseen source, bathing the space in an ethereal glow. In the center of the chamber stood a mirror, its surface reflecting not my own image, but a vision of my future, a glimpse into the possibilities that lay ahead. I saw myself as an old woman, sitting by a crackling fireplace, surrounded by a loving family, her face etched with the wisdom of a long and well-lived life. I saw a life filled with purpose, with meaning, with a deep sense of contentment, a life that had been dedicated to helping others and making the world a better place. I saw the joy of grandchildren, the comfort of shared memories, the peace that comes with acceptance. But then, the vision shifted, the idyllic scene dissolving into darkness. I saw myself alone, forgotten, lost in the labyrinth forever, wandering its endless corridors for eternity, a prisoner of my own ambition and curiosity. I saw the price of seeking forbidden knowledge, the sacrifice of my present for a glimpse of what might be. The labyrinth would consume me, strip away my identity, and leave me a hollow shell, a mere echo of the person I once was. I realized that the labyrinth was not merely a place, but a test, a crucible in which my soul would be forged. It was a challenge to confront my deepest fears, to acknowledge my regrets, and to accept the limitations of my own mortality. The vision of the future was not a promise, but a warning, a reminder of the potential consequences of my choices. I knew that I had to make a choice, a decision that would determine the course of my life. I could embrace the vision of the future, accepting its promise of fulfillment and its potential for despair, surrendering myself to the labyrinth's embrace. or I could turn back, abandoning my quest for knowledge and returning to the world I knew, choosing the safety of the familiar over the uncertainty of the unknown. With a heavy heart, I made my decision. I chose to turn back, to resist the allure of the labyrinth and reclaim my own destiny. I knew that I could not risk losing myself in its endless corridors, becoming a prisoner of its illusions. I had to return to the world, to live my life in the present, to create my own future, guided by the lessons I had learned in the labyrinth. The path out of the labyrinth was even more arduous than the path in, a gauntlet of challenges and temptations designed to test my resolve. I had to confront my demons, to overcome my fears, to reclaim my identity piece by piece. It was a painful and exhausting process, a trial by fire that stripped away my illusions and revealed my true self. I had to confront my insecurities, my self-doubt, my fear of failure. I had to forgive myself for my past mistakes, to let go of my regrets, and to embrace the present moment. I had to learn to trust my instincts, to follow my heart, and to believe in myself. Finally, after what seemed like a lifetime, I emerged from the labyrinth, blinking in the sunlight, gasping for breath, feeling as if I had been reborn. The monolith still stood in the center of the valley, its surface covered in the same cryptic symbols, but it no longer held the same allure. I had seen what lay beyond, and I knew that it was not for me. I returned to the world a changed person, transformed by my experience in the labyrinth. The journey had stripped away my illusions, my fears, my self-doubt, leaving me with a newfound sense of clarity and purpose. I no longer craved the predictable security of my old life, the suffocating routine that had once defined me. I had tasted the unknown, and I knew that I could never go back. I did not return to accounting, much to the surprise of everyone who knew me. Instead, I started a small publishing house, dedicated to preserving and sharing the stories of forgotten places and hidden histories, giving voice to the voiceless and shedding light on the mysteries of the world. I traveled the world, seeking out the lost and the forgotten, documenting their stories, and sharing them with others. I wrote about ancient ruins hidden in remote jungles, about forgotten languages spoken by isolated tribes, about the secrets